All right, hi everyone, and welcome to Footnotes. Tonight we're joined by Konner.
Hey guys.
So, how are you doing? And Matthew's coming on his way over here too.
Great.
Can I sneak into this one?
You can come.
Awesome. Hi, everybody.
So I was just asking, right out of the gate, how was your weekend?
It's been great.
How about you?
It's been wonderful. We had some good company. We got to play a whole bunch of Elden Ring. No spoilers, no worries.
Spoilers.
I don't know. Some people really worry about spoilers, and hey, whatever makes them enjoy their games more.
I've been watching it. Okay, totally honest. I've been watching it and listening to it, and I couldn't tell you what the story is.
Well, you got to be careful because it's a Soulsborne game, so the dark noun has attacked the grim-sounding thing in the place with the fallen empire, and also the kingdom is in danger.
That's actually kind of also the hidden.
It's good that you pointed out. This might be a hint of things to come in the far future. A wonderful creation by one of our closest fans and dearest friends.
Maybe not in the future, but
I mean, earlier today.
Yeah.
I mean, like a long
time ago.
Okay, there we go. Now I'm following.
I see what you're doing. You're doing.
I went there.
Okay. This is some terrain we use today for Star Wars Legion, which is a tabletop war game that you just got your first game in.
Yeah, sunk my teeth into it.
Maybe we'll see some of that on the stream at some point.
Maybe. That'd be fun.
We've got a lot of stuff on the stream lately.
Yeah, I need to figure out how to film it. I've got ideas though.
Ooh.
Camera angles.
Yep.
We'll have to post some test stuff in the Discord to find out. But what is Footnotes? What are we doing here today?
Footnotes is kind of the campaign after show. We talk about Dungeons and Dragons in our most recent sessions, and we have not had a Footnotes in a while.
It's been a minute.
We've had 3 sessions.
3 weeks since
3 weeks,
our last
yeah.
Yep.
Footnotes, I think.
3 weeks since the last Footnotes, and a one-shot.
And a one-shot. Yeah.
We did. We've had a couple sessions here. Oh man, we've had so much stuff to cover for the past couple of weeks. Where do you want to start?
Well, we could go back to the beginning. We could go back to the most recent little mini arc that we had in our campaign, the Velvet Vulpine.
Ooh, Tiny Fox time. I'm into it. Konner, welcome back, by the way. It's been a while since we've had you.
Yeah, no problem.
At least a month.
Good to be back.
So you get to go on a heist recently.
Yes. I had a great time doing it, actually. I liked taking over someone else's responsibilities and face.
Victor does not
Maybe not
appreciate
necessarily
that.
their personality, but it was great. It was fun trying to improvise, not getting caught.
We didn't actually. The premise of you taking over for someone was told during the session was the amount of time you had to prep.
That was the prep, yeah.
You had. I told you, hey, this is an option. You said, I'm going to take that option. I'm going to go ahead and sneak in as someone who's working there. And then a couple minutes later, everyone else making their decisions, I went, cool, who are you?
Yeah, and I said, I am the wine guy. I'm the sommelier.
And then I avoided saying the word as much as possible over the next 2 sessions.
But I appreciate the fact that you were just given the accent and went with it, that you were just given this character and said, I'm just going to do it and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I did not participate in the heist nearly as much as you did. You were kind of the catalyst for the heisting to really occur.
Yeah, I would say that, and Win-Win Amanda's character definitely was probably the catalyst, and then I just kind of looked for places.
You did you both were doing the most spy stuff.
Yeah.
Ismini was like the legitimacy. Mm-hmm. Silas did a bunch of the distracting when things actually got crazy.
Yeah, Silas's purpose was both kind of, again, to aid us in legitimacy to a degree, help distract, because Jake is a hilarious player, and I like to see what he does.
He painted so many people. He was doing a bunch of caricature art of all the nobles.
But we also had that I at least had the secondary motivation that I let Jake know about. We were totally in alignment on it, in alignment. It's so corporate of me. But about, hey, we have this secondary enemy that kind of is interested in artists. And I don't know how the rest of the party really felt about that. I knew Jake and I were on the same page, but we never really asked anybody else.
Yeah, I honestly don't think the person that's killing the artist is that high up in society.
Right, but the argument was, hey, go be a public painter. Maybe they'll get interested in you because now
Yeah.
you've painted all these people heists.
Gain some renown with the wealthy people.
Yeah, basically. But
I like the thought process.
I don't know if that really worked.
Well, I suppose you'll have to wait and see. You're currently where the party ends up is you're a little outside of the wheelhouse of what that story might be telling, and you're in the middle of another. So the Velvet Vulpine, the little statuette. If you've read spy or like heist books, or you've ever watched any of those movies, they always have there's the glowing box, there's the MacGuffin, and it's important, but it's not really about the object itself. You knew you were going there for a statuette that was going to help you you needed its magical assistance.
Right. It felt more like, okay, so there's the heist where you go and you like steal money, and now you've got money. Mm-hmm. And then there's a heist where you go and you steal, like, I don't know, you break into the CIA. I'm sorry, NSA, but you break into the CIA and you like steal documents, or what is it? National Treasure, where you go and you get the back
Steal
of
the
the
declaration.
There's like four heists in National Treasure.
Right,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like the heists are with a purpose versus a heist for the item itself, like a giant jewel or money.
Right, and your goal,
Right, yeah.
the end goal wasn't the Vulpine. That
Right.
was just, you needed that to get to where you ended up this Friday.
Means to an end, yeah.
Yeah, which 2 points.
Yes, ma'am.
Point number 1, we did find out later, some like what if. Can I discuss one of the what ifs about the Vulpine?
Oh, absolutely. That's appropriate.
Okay. Ismini went and played poker. I played poker, 9 Kings hand or whatever. And
Nine Lords Bluff.
9 Lords Bluff, and won enough money to have purchased the Velvet Vulpine. And number 2, we did, air quotes, befriend somebody who worked for Zarathal. There's a possibility we could have talked him into just letting us know where Zarathal was at.
Noah O'Brien owes Silas a favor, assuming someone told Noah about it.
Not him, the drow.
No, yeah, the drow.
Oh, you're referring to Ketchrit.
The guy who
Ketchrit, yeah.
worked for Zarathal, which leads me to a whole nother theory that I have. Totally unrelated, and it involves Noah O'Brien still. But but there's other ways we could have gone about finding him. I'm sure that there's even more that we haven't thought about or discussed, but the heist itself being not for let's go get rich, which we did, but let's go get some money, but also let's go get the thing that gets us to the next part of this actual quest, I liked.
Yeah. I liked the heist because it was also like, okay, once we get it, how do we get it out? And that's always the best part of the heist, right?
Right.
Oh, man. I think I made a big deal about it at the end of that session. I'm so proud of you. I did not expect it to go so smoothly once you got the statuette. I know you nearly destroyed a building, but that was the smooth outcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
And getting the statuette partly was what destroyed the building. It was less about getting out. We kind of tried to tie that up, but really getting to it destroyed the building.
Yeah. Once I heard, hot door, oh, there's a boiler in the basement, and then it just kind of went south there.
Yeah, because we never figured out what the pixie dust did.
Yeah. And me even as a player, for some reason, didn't even put the connection between pixie dust and making things fly.
I think the example given was Tinkerbell.
Yeah, Tinkerbell.
Yeah.
Which all of us, I don't know.
It just did not cross my mind.
I don't think a
at
player...
all.
Is this inverse metagaming? Is that what so there's this idea of player knowledge versus character knowledge, and we make some assumptions that there's an overlap here that you don't even need to ask permission for. So for example, I don't ask you to make skill checks to know that most dragons that at least some dragons have wings.
Right.
I didn't think to call for a check about what fairy like pixie dust would do. And that is actually I think it's kind of fun because since you didn't know and didn't think to ask, and I thought you knew and didn't think to ask, we got a moment where you got to be surprised and I got to be surprised.
It was just a gem in the stream. It was pretty great.
I can't plan that sort of thing.
No.
No, I couldn't tell you if any player actually thought that's what pixie dust did.
Yeah, the only person that knew was the one sitting off stream.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Alex said
Alex knew, yeah.
Because he was like, what are you guys, what?
What? Yeah.
But that's actually interesting because that does lead us into our most recent session too.
Yes.
About the argument of player knowledge versus character knowledge.
Yeah, so you're talking about the creature you encountered, I'm assuming,
Yes.
on Friday.
We had a fight on Friday that us as players have seen this monster before.
Fought it
Multiple times before.
Yeah.
But our characters would have had no reason to have ever really run into it. I would be the only one, arguably, who would have had any prior knowledge.
You would have only read about it in
Familiar with it,
books.
Right. I wouldn't have actually fought it, and that's what I did a check for, to see, hey, can I recall anything about this?
Yes, and so you're referring to, there was a creature you fought last session known as a Yodelgurt, which is a greater Yodelgurt, which is a roughly CR-17 fiend. Mm-hmm. It is by and large, far and away the most high-powered creature you've encountered, which is why it didn't die in the end of that encounter.
Yeah. Yeah, that was rough.
Really, really fantastic, I think, party coordination this last time.
Yeah.
We had some separated party members. We had party members with debilitating conditions who handled the roleplay of, hey, you the player know that you're under a deceptive spell, but you need to act into this, fully committing into the bit. Amanda did a great job. Jake did a great job of just, that's our mom. We have to protect our mom.
Yeah.
Protect your moms.
And I'd have to say, so we as a table have two different levels of familiarity. There were two separate fights two separate big encounters with the Yodelgurt that we had. 3 of us were there for the first one, and then the full table was there for another. So a group of our players have only seen it one other time, and then we saw it much lower level previously. So as a player who fought it multiple times in the past, how did that feel?
Considering we have fought it multiple times, but every time we've fought it, we've been at double digits in level.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little pucker factor, I think, to it.
Also, you fought lesser Yodelgurts.
Lesser, yeah. They weren't as nearly as bad.
The number of limbs, the number of eyes, and the way that those things work is really what changes there.
Right.
And because the design of, and I'd love to get more into it at some point, but the design of the creature itself, even though we fought it before, we're still like, okay, what does it do? What does this one do in particular?
It's kind of fun.
Yeah, because they're kind of different, right?
You don't. So my players don't look at stat blocks. They don't. I don't think almost anyone owns a monster manual. Besides me at the table.
We may have the monster manual, and that's it.
Right.
You and I.
Yeah, it's like you and I have all the books, but our players don't generally look at monster stat blocks. They're not something they see as often. But the Yodelgurt isn't from the monster manual. It's something that I built for a previous campaign that we ran. It's mean. They're really mean, guys.
Yeah, we saw that happen just a little bit.
Yeah, I like the puppet arms. It's pretty great.
I didn't know.
I did not expect. I didn't think Yodelgurt when we were fighting it at first.
Right, I didn't go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the only thing they have a lot of abilities. They have 4 different kinds of arms, 4 different kinds of eyes, and you've seen the black arm before, the injector, which is horrible. It was very, very bad.
Yeah.
It's grotesque. Got a little bit of, I would say, a little bit of alien vibes for how that works.
Yeah. A little less intrusive, even though it still is intrusive, but it's a little less.
It's still gross though.
It's disgusting.
It's not as gross as Alien though.
You guys could not roll a medicine check to save your lives.
No, we can't.
I couldn't, and it was kind of fun because me as a DM was like, oh, I want this thing where maybe they'll slowly be able to figure it out, or maybe they'll do some exploring off the beaten path, but they just low skill checks. The party totally went in dark.
But that can be kind of explained by the fact that all of us at the table, I wouldn't call wisdom a dump stat, obviously. I've dumped strength, like we've all got something that isn't the highest, but I think across the board at our table, one of our lowest stats across the board is wisdom. Like everything else kind of averages out high, and wisdom probably averages to a 10 or 11.
We don't want to talk about intelligence, do we, Konner?
No, it's okay.
You bring the average a little bit.
Yeah, I bring that one down.
Hey man, you're helping the curve.
220s and
I
a 9.
actually have a positive wisdom score, and I have a +1 to it actually too. So
Nice.
I have a positive modifier too, but I didn't take medicine in this campaign. I took it in the last one.
Why would you? You're a wizard.
I'm a wizard. Why do I need to know? I took it as a bard, but I did not take it as a wizard.
I think medicine's a hard skill, and I think that the way I've had the most success using medicine as a skill has been in the situations like this where you're looking at cause of death, you're looking at wounds and trying to understand them. Because magical healing in our setting is a pretty prevalent thing. Most parties this one excluded, generally have a divine caster in them.
Right.
Yep.
Gwynwyn has healing. Gwynwyn does have healing, but isn't a healer as her main role.
Right. And that can be kind of... We're not in the olden days where you must have a cleric in every party across every system of any game that you play. You must have a healer.
Or druid.
And
Yeah.
clerics do not have to be healers.
Right.
At all.
No, they do not.
A lot of games have moved past that Yeah. A lot of games have moved past having that healer role be required. So you can see Dungeons and Dragons parties or even like Pathfinder 2nd Edition parties where you buy potions. That's what you do. You don't force either the cleric to be the healer or for,
We need a paladin to just focus on using channel divinity.
Right.
Yeah.
I like the role, but it's not needed.
I haven't been it yet, but in like video games that I played before, I've liked playing the healer too. So maybe in a future one shot I'll be the healer. I don't know. We'll see.
I think both of you do a good job being, in times of danger in our games, this one and previous, being a solid foundation, like I don't want to say a tent pole, but like a way to help hold the party up when things are going very poorly. And this session, you got to really kind of exemplify that, because I believe you two were the ones who passed the check versus those puppets.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Jake asked the question whether it was a
Charm effect.
which most of us in the party have advantage on. So I got to roll another d20 actually, and I passed, thankfully.
Yeah.
And there were 3 other people who had to re-roll, all of which rolled just as poorly.
Just
it was
as poorly, yeah.
dreadful. But so the two of you, now both of you got to be in a situation this week where your party was under this debilitating condition. They were going crazy. Clearly, we're in very great danger, I think.
Yeah.
How was this as players for you going through this encounter? I just imagine you were in a very stressful place.
Yeah. It was more that we lost half of our party running down a tunnel.
More than
Separate tunnels, and 2 of them were together, so it wasn't as bad, but the fact that Elle went down a tunnel by herself was, I know, for Ismini, it's a real bad thing.
we lost our NPCs, both of them.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You may be seeing some more as one of them just went away to carry off the other injured party member.
That was scary, I'll say.
A dog passed though, so it was 3 of us.
It was 3.
It wasn't too bad.
was 3 of
I did
7?
forget myself.
That's 5 of us at the table, right? That I can count.
DC, it was DC 12 or 14. I always need it in front of me.
3 NPCs, so 5 people failed and 3 passed. That's not great odds for any party.
No.
You all, yeah, it was. I had assumed, because I do a lot of math when I'm planning my sessions of just, hey, what is the relative, you do challenge rating stuff, but you also, if you look at a saving throw, you can estimate how many people you would expect to fail. I expected 2 people to fail.
Yeah. I also think you're the only person. I don't know what the Magus is, but I think you're the only person that has wisdom saving throw proficiency.
I do have wisdom saving throw
as well,
proficiency.
so.
Magus has dexterity and intelligence, and so you are correct, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm int in wisdom, and like I said, my wisdom isn't negative, so I had like a +5, I think. But it's still, because it's 2 plus, so it's 5. But that was a scary, and again, we fought these before, but not knowing what it was
What it
in
was,
that
yeah.
moment
Yeah.
was I mean, it took the entire session in a different direction, it felt like, for us.
Sometimes, there's been a couple times I've had the opportunity to do so, to do this, where you have your players, and if you have your players encounter a creature that their PCs haven't met before, or maybe they've met but they don't know much about. One piece of DMing advice I was given that I've been able to use is to describe the creature, but do not state what the creature is.
Yeah.
And it can be hard because you can misspeak, of course. If you describe a swamp troll, it is horrifying.
Yeah.
It's a grotesque, pus-covered creature. It might be it could sound like a hag. It could sound like a number of creatures.
So yeah, just looking right ahead of us, we have a beholder. So just describing a beholder would be
Yeah.
much more horrifying than saying you run into a beholder.
Yeah.
Although If you played D&D before, you know that running into a beholder's not
That's
a good
bad.
thing.
Good thing.
Yeah.
You haven't encountered one of those.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I have a lot of beholder miniatures.
On wood.
Yeah, knock on wood.
I don't know anything about how many beholder miniatures there are.
But yeah, so you faced off against the Yadalgurt and Ismini. You did such a great job. The party really formed around you to actually, you got a bunch of support from all your friends, and you were able to kind of work on this ritual. Props. I just want to say props here.
Seriously.
So I know, and this is, we passed the lizard folk guy who had the ford and all the items needed to do it. Brave guy, by the way. I've had that conversation since the session with like more than one person, that guy was a brave guy. Or really dumb, but brave guy for doing it, right?
Lizard folk, probably not that smart.
But a combination of the two, right?
Yeah.
Give and take. But
Yeah.
I had so much fun because the idea around my character was fully realized in that moment. That was everything that I designed my character to do in that second part of the session, where went and got Elle into safety enough, like not dead and not being mind controlled, and then went and bound and sealed a demon. It was every single thing, like all the high points of like, who is Ismini if you had to write down 3 things on a, elevator pitch.
Yeah. Just watch that like last 20 minutes of the stream, and
It was just
Heroes.
That's his meaning right there.
that is
Yeah.
fully realized to the character. And there's a lot of opportunities throughout a campaign where you get to show off who your character is. And that was, for me, just like cherry on top. Like, I am so satisfied right now with who Ismini is as a character. And mechanically, she's been a lot of fun to play. But now I'm in a weird spot because I'm like, I have all this money. What spells do I get?
You have a lot of money. The party has raised well over 15,000 gold pieces.
Yeah.
You have an absurd amount of wealth.
Yeah.
Money isn't everything. And it is February.
Mm-hmm.
And we're coming towards the end of it.
Yeah.
Love is in the air.
Love is in the air.
And you have a mission.
I do. My mission has been to ask all the players at our table about their experiences or feelings with romance at the table, be it with NPCs or other players. We all have a different experience and a different comfort level or desire to engage in these different relationships. Parties become friends over time, but we've had all kinds of relationships across the board. And I kind of wanted to peek into Konner's brain a little bit and kind of see, what are your feelings about love and romance whenever it comes to Dungeons and Dragons?
I think it can be a very funny thing. I had a wife in our first campaign, and I guess she wasn't my wife at first, right?
Not first.
No, you got married
I
towards
had a baby mama, essentially.
Deadbeat over here.
Yeah, seriously. And like, even though I was uncomfortable, like being lovey-dovey with Matt, because Matt was
DM and
my baby mama.
Oh,
obviously,
okay.
because-
So this is fine. This is
Yeah.
fine.
It was some of the funnier and more just the things that stick out to me is just like my character Kevril just being an utter dumbass when trying to talk to this woman, and it was great.
So here's the thing. I want to say from the other side of this real quick. So Konner's character had a previous love from before our campaign, and over who he thought she was dead. Years later, the events of a campaign happened. You eventually discover that wasn't so true. Also, weird. She has a daughter.
Yeah.
And so this was a year between deciding this and deciding the first thing, learning the second.
Yeah.
And I will say, though it started off funny and awkward, you did an absolutely fantastic job. There were some real good role play moments, and it's not about the lovey-doveyness. It was about it helped structure where Kevril took, where he was in society, what his roles were, what his responsibilities were.
Yeah.
And you went from a literal hermit at the start of the campaign to a baron who was proudly ruling his people. Not a fan of the titles, but still doing a great job.
Yeah.
As a player
He grew up.
witnessing it, I loved every second of it because it was both.
You had some sweet. We had some sweet
You had
moments.
some sweet moments. And
yeah.
I will admit, whenever
Apple Garden.
Yeah. I will admit, as a player, I had a romance with another player at the table, and it was so awkward. Because it's like, you're my friend, and like 3 minutes ago, we were like fighting over who got to like get the last bit of dip out of the container, and now we're like flirting with each other, locking eyes across the room.
You're married.
We're married.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a little bit weird sometimes. But
it's definitely weird and awkward. But it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's definitely something that I think is fun, and if you can do it with, like you're saying, someone you actually are playing with, like your DM.
You're so much more shy talking about it here than you were at the table.
You were shy at the table. No, we were all shy at the table.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a great thing. I think. I think romances in D&D are very funny, awkward.
Yeah.
They definitely get players and maybe even the DM out of their comfort zone.
He doesn't
I think
have
it's
a
a good
comfort
thing.
zone.
Yeah. Maybe not this DM, but
Do you think now? This isn't a spoiler. I'm not asking if you have someone in particular in mind. Do you think you could ever see Laurentius? Is there any part of what you see for Laurentius that is going to be related to any sort of romantic entanglements?
maybe. I don't know. Hasn't met the right.
The door's
lady.
open?
Yeah, this door's open.
Okay.
I know exactly, if I had full control over everything that happened, exactly what would happen with his meanie.
Yeah.
Exactly what would happen with his meanie. We take a 2-year break from adventuring. We're stable, things are fine, like Else is laying low and comfortable. We take a 2-year break. We come back. We've been called
Are you sure?
back.
You've told me this. Are you sure you would like to air this on Footnotes?
No.
Because you told me this before character creation.
I did tell you this before character creation.
Well, survive.
I have to survive, but I promise my full enjoyment of this plan. Because I actually, again, very awkward, blushed a lot, felt very embarrassed, had fun flirting with other people at the table. Because, again, we have that conversation about, talk to your players, talk to your other players at the table, find out people's comfort levels.
I'm reminded. So you had a romance in a previous campaign where your bard and our party's wizard, played by Clella, ended up being married, and both of them survived that campaign. You both did a fantastic job on roleplay. I believe we talked about this a little bit on a previous footnote, so I won't linger too long. But we actually got to talk a little bit about them during one of our previous sessions that's happened here. They since the last time we had Footnotes during the Velvet Vulpine, at the end of that arc, essentially, you had another check-in with your handler, with the Callister family, with the House of Summer.
Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed.
This was I'm realizing this is a big moment.
Another
of
big
yours. We should not.
moment.
I don't want to miss this since we have you here for Footnotes.
Okay.
You got to meet the House of Summer, the elven, a quarter of the elven race, the high elven race, essentially. Meaning works for them.
Yeah.
And so, what was it like for you? Not only getting another one of these little moments where you got to embellish your character, but also getting to remember it because you've been mind wiping them, which is why we don't see them happening all the time.
Right. So I had a conversation with you very early on that I do not care if this is a good reason for me to be doing this or a bad reason. I said, DM, it could be a bad guy telling me to get Elle into Elks, but I believe it is the House of Summer telling me to. And I trust you fully to do with that whatever you want. I don't want to know.
Trust your DMs. It could never end poorly.
It could never end poorly. And to my surprise, right now, it appears as though everything's on the up and up. Now, it's possible that it isn't, and that this Molmir over here, whatever, is going to be...
Molmarin.
I know it's Molmarin. I wrote it down in my notes. But it's possible... I just like Molmir as a
You've
word.
met the Molmarins before.
Yeah. But it's possible... Oh.
They were the married couple when you first visited the Solstice Citadel.
I know exactly who they are. They were the people that I accused of doing everything wrong in the world.
Yes. You thought they were my BBEG.
I thought they were the BBEG. They were
This
not.
is a very minor thing that only came up in a single session.
But it's very fun to know now who it is because I was fully, as a player, I've been sitting here going either Elle is now safe or Elle is now in the most danger ever. But I, as my character, fully believed that what I was doing was the right thing.
Yes.
So as a player, I'm sitting there going, she may be making the biggest mistakes. But
I think you've been doing a fantastic job.
my one regret about it is honestly just on a player-to-player basis where I was like, I wouldn't trust those kids with a secret. But that's because they don't know really fully what's going on with Elle and the thing that just had happened with Chester. I was a little upset that I said that because I wanted that moment of kind of bringing everybody in on the secret for real.
I think
But-
if you have a player regret about that sort of thing, first of all, I think you did the scene fantastic. I didn't warn you, again, like Konner and Victor, I don't give you that sort of information before we play. What I want to say, you did a great job there. I think you going, I wish I had done this different, might actually just be a good source of, maybe as Meanie feels the way I wish I had spoken up for my friends. And maybe that'll influence how you act in the future.
Yeah, because as is Meanie, just again, looking past the character sheet and the numbers and going to the character,
She got good numbers.
she's got great numbers, but I trust all of the players at the table, and by extension, is Meanie trusts all of the PCs to fight on the same side and protect Elle and protect her, and they will help in turn protect everybody else. Like,
You
we're all trying
don't
to stay
blink when he draws a sword.
Right, we're all trying to stay alive together. I don't think that Silas is gonna come bust up into Elle's room and cave her head in. I know that's super dark, but like,
Everyone, Gwyn wins in the chat. Bonk.
all right, I don't have it right now, but
Bonk.
but I really, truly am like, as a player, and there's this thing that happens in parties, and I want to get your opinion on this, actually. I'm kind of
Ooh.
deviating a little bit.
Go for it.
You meet all these new people. Everybody's carrying around weapons and can cast fireballs at each other with their brains.
Right.
You meet all of these strangers who are at a relatively even footing with you. How fast do you trust them as the PC? As a player, obviously, immediately. It was just bit some of our friends in the butt before,
So,
but
I can speak on the two PCs that I played.
Okay.
So Kevril was very slow to trust. Obviously, he'd been living in Hermitage for however many years it was. So it took a little while. Also, I think it was kind of fitting because I hadn't played with you guys before, so
Yeah.
it kind of worked out.
That's
pretty
how we
well.
kind of became friends.
Yeah, exactly. And then Thorn, he's just an idiot. So if you buy him a drink or something, he's probably just gonna think you're friends at
And
that point.
They've been buying you drinks and fighting by your side at this point for about
Yeah.
3.5 months.
yeah, which is kind of the
So we're
thing.
like this.
Yeah, in my
to
brain,
Thorn,
I
yeah.
forgot how long it had really been. Because my first character, exact opposite. First character, you kept getting annoyed with me because I wanted to adopt everybody. Like, I'm like, oh, random person, come live with us in our castle. Like,
Yep.
come on, let's go. Small child that we don't know, come live with us.
We haven't
Multiple of you.
We didn't mention a small child yet. We're going to have to talk about the small child.
We are going to have to talk about the
Stories.
small child. Oh, no.
But you're right. Now I actually think
the
there's a
opposite.
propensity for players in general to adopt. Now, Konner, you are not this player. You are not someone who wants to adopt every monster and goblin you meet.
No, I'm not. I'm all for everyone, wanting to do their thing, adopt the cute little creature or the sick, old man. Me, it just, I don't know. I don't know why. I haven't been like that in any of the games or video games or anything like that.
No, I look forward to seeing you with an animal, or maybe like if it's a sci-fi, like a robotic companion at some point in the future. I think that could be interesting. But I think something can't just be cute. I think you'd want to talk about it in character creation for you.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I feel guilty picking the evil option in video games. So, like I feel I played what was it, Fable, where I went full evil path, and that still sticks with me.
Yeah, Fable's pretty dark too. To go
Yeah.
evil path.
Yeah, because I wanted to do the opposite of what my brother did. So
You
he
gotta
played
do more
good.
than just chase those chickens.
Yeah, I just did the thing where you put the buy a house, put the art on the house, sell the house, bust the door down. That.
Just a notification here from ECAT over in chat that he does not have any difficulty picking the evil options in chat. We're not going to judge him in any way because he got us set up with this fine terrain here for playing some Star Wars Legion and maybe doing some RP in the future with it.
Yeah.
But
Nice defensive wall for Konner.
we have a nice defensive wall here for Konner. Although, if you need additional protection, we can fortify that with a girl boss. We'll continue your barrier.
Looks good.
Now, there was a child. There was a hatched egg recently, and much to the dismay of Jake, no scrambling of egg was done. Instead, a lizard popped out.
Exploded out.
Exploded.
Yeah.
Truly, guys, I rolled to see how close you were going to be for this.
Mm-hmm.
There was a chance for a lot of damage.
We cannot discuss what it is
No.
because we don't know for sure.
It's so little.
It's so little, but
You can speculate all you want. I can leave.
I wish.
Do you want me to go?
I wish Jake was here because me and him immediately were like, we know what that is. Like not as our characters obviously, but out of character. 100% know what it is.
I love that I didn't know. Now I'm pretty sure I know what it is.
Yeah.
But I could not guess, and they were like, I'm like, it's adorable.
Should I pull up the picture for the folks in Footnotes?
Please do.
I will be right back.
It's adorable, and
It is very cute.
now. Oh my gosh, that's pretty cute too. Coco.
Yeah.
But
Just as dangerous.
just as dangerous. But we now have an extra little creature.
Yeah.
Okay, that's adorable. We're getting to see it too, and it's pretty cute.
Yeah, it's pretty cute.
I know. We're just like, it's adorable. I can't stop staring at it. But
Yes, so there was a small creature that hatched this session. Not a part of your class feature. Not a class feature, but instead a small animal companion like this one.
That was your class feature?
yeah, if that was my class feature, that would be it can sit in fires. That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
It tried to eat my familiar. That's pretty neat.
It has immunity to fire. It has the ability to do some gulping. It's not very strong at the moment.
Right.
Maybe if it grows big and strong.
But the thing that I have a problem with, that I've carried over from the last campaign, because again, I think this is who I am. I don't like seeing NPCs get hurt. The Bastellus thing freaked me out.
I definitely know that's one way to get to you.
And so I now have this tiny little adorable lizard creature thing, and I do not want it to be hurt at all. And I don't know where you go on the emotional.
Yeah, no. I definitely, when the big bad or the enemy is attacking the NPC, don't like it.
You're not a fan?
Not a fan. Adoption, though, just not a fan of.
Yeah.
It's just more stuff to track.
We should mention
Personally.
the idea that you aren't getting along with this little creature is just a funny bit.
Oh yeah, exactly.
It absolutely.
That's all it is. For
You
sure.
have the same int score, so you're just competing for
Hey.
attention.
Hey.
I think I'm smarter than you.
You are smarter
He
than
is
it,
smarter
for
than
sure.
In 3, in case you're curious. It's,
Oh.
it's somewhere between 2 and
Couple.
4. I think it's 3. I have the sheet behind my screen, but I'll check it
In
later.
its eyes, Thorn's a genius.
Truly.
You can read.
You also have.
Oh, wait,
Nope,
not
nope.
that one.
I do love every moment in the campaign that happens intentionally or not, where people are like, "Hey, have you read this? Can you read this to me?" What does that say? Because we've done this before. Where we kind of
Well, what's so great about it is that people keep forgetting that Thorn cannot read.
I keep forgetting.
And
You gave him
it's so funny every time to be like, I don't know.
you gave him a thesaurus and he used it as a coaster.
It's a coaster.
Oh, I do appreciate anytime I have a Dawn around.
Yeah.
Like, you've been very good about, like, Laurentius is very funny, and so I'll have NPCs just say things, and you just fully roll with it.
Yeah.
Because I think at Dawn gave you the thesaurus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just...
Really good coaster.
There's so many little moments and that's kind of what I love about I love meeting new characters and finding out how everybody plays, but man, the established party with these established dynamics, I will not get over it.
Yeah.
I will not. Do you think one day maybe you could learn? Or is it not possible for you to learn?
It's possible, I think.
Okay.
It's going to be kind of slow.
First,
I'm going to be sounding it out a lot, the words.
see the other problem, you have to tell somebody. The first part
Oh, yeah,
is
that's
telling
true.
somebody, because we don't, as characters, fully know that yet.
I feel
kind
like
of
you guys are
avoided it.
kind of picking up on it.
Yeah, it's been kind of obvious that whenever we pass you a piece of paper and you pass it to the next person, you have sometimes
Hand me
held
a
it.
spell scroll. I'm like,
The
here you go,
cow
Silas.
goes moo. Why did you give me this?
Yeah.
Why is this written in Dwarvish? It's not.
Oh, I don't read that language.
So we are getting a little low on time here, and we have one big thing we've yet to cover here.
Oh my gosh.
So we have here we have a one shot that we recently got to run. Thank you so much. So I want to first thank Victoria for doing all the editing, doing a fantastic job getting things cut down so we could stream it. I believe it was last week on Sunday. Is that
Last
correct?
Sunday.
Last Sunday we had the Battlesphere high level one shot. Both of you got to play in it. And you guys to be high level players again. Now, not as high as your old PCs, but what was it like jumping into these new characters, Dewdrop and Jorson?
Well, Jorson wasn't a new character to jump into. He was just a little stronger. But I do love Jorson as a character. I love the Bladesinger class.
You like
Subclass.
Spellblade hybrid stuff all the time, it feels like.
Yeah, and yeah.
That's 3, really, if you think about it. Because Kevril, then Jorson, and now, yeah, you've kind of...
I like the Gish playstyle a lot.
I see that.
Yeah.
I see that. I got to play a monk.
Yes. Yes, you did.
Got to play your favorite kind of monk.
I got to play a Tabaxi monk. Ah!
Dewdrops was so wonderful.
So great.
There's a moment where someone calls you Dewey, and it
Well,
takes me a solid beat to know who they were talking to. And when it hits me, I think I might have... I almost broke. It was so good.
Nobody called me on, which I was very sad about because I did let people know that they could use any of my names or combination of my names.
Dewdrops on grass. Dewdrops on... Would on grass be okay?
Yeah, it's a little more formal sounding.
It's a little
but
too formal? Okay.
A little formal.
But Tabaxi are quite a bit of an oddity, and the Battlesphere got you an opportunity to be off-plane.
Yep.
I really expected when I started playing the Battlesphere for it to be the first time the party went off-plane. And I didn't think you'd be in the Feywild first.
That's fair.
And I said the party, meant the table on stories.
Yeah.
But you both got quite a bit of ass-kicking done.
Yeah.
The killer cat absolutely has claws.
That was okay. There were so many different things about that character that just made it work. That item that I got, the tattoo,
Yes.
which we reflavored as a brand, but it is a tattoo that requires attunement, but you can unattune from.
Yes, so I will say I believe it's a Tasha's item.
Yes, it's a tattoo needle. Then you do it for an hour, and then you get the effect, and then whenever you unattune, you get the needle back.
The needle returns when you unattune to the item. And I do think
Yeah.
that I think it works better if you... I like the idea of forcing player choice. I think that turning it something into a brand and being like, you can use this, but you will be marked unless you go on a journey to remove it.
Yeah.
I think that would have been more fun way to handle it. And the concept of a one-shot, cursing an item to be locked onto someone doesn't have any sort of downside. It just adds to the story.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it. I like being a high-level monk.
Yeah. I like being a somewhat high-level wizard.
Yeah.
Maybe mixed with a little bit of rogue. It was fun.
And you got a little bit of extra spell slots from the Arcane Trickster option. And yes.
You are Arcane Trickster. I didn't know what rogue flavor you were.
By hybridizing those, you actually could cast spells of a higher level than you had. So you could cast a spell, upcasting it to a higher level,
Yeah,
but you
I had
couldn't use...
An extra spell slot.
Yes.
Higher level spell slot than I normally would. As a Sorcerer 6 or a Rogue 5. But combining them, you get that extra spell slot.
Yep. And seeing you as a wizard is always a treat.
Yeah. I liked Jorson as a character before, too, because we got to play with Jorson in the past in what we, again, keep calling Helves, Descended to Avernus, where we all show up with elves. Fantastic, by the way.
And we got to play... So the one-shot... I let him bring back this character from a campaign that we did ages ago, but because the campaign kind of ended, what we did is we gave it a sort of... We alluded to some vagaries of how it may have gone, but we didn't specify certain things that would be campaign specific, also to avoid spoiling the actual the pre-written module for anyone who wanted to both watch Stories of D4 and also play through Descent into Avernus.
Right.
And that was homebrewed to all hell. The first 3 sessions were by the book, and then I stopped.
Yeah,
I'm not good at.
Because there's anybody who's DM'd out of any of the modules before can say that there's definitely some places where you want to put your own flavor on it or your own spin. I've got all sorts of feelings, positive feelings, but also some places that I've made changes whenever I was running Curse of Strahd the first time, which I want to reboot eventually.
That'd be fun.
Because that was fun, but I don't know what happened to my character, and I don't think know what happened to my character either, because it wasn't.
I only have
needed.
an idea of who one character might have what happened to them. That's it.
Fun though.
I know the canonical location of all the characters now. I've done some talking to the players, and now this doesn't mean too much for the Elt campaign necessarily, but what it does mean is as we continue going on, as we continue to get followers, subscribers, and folks continue to offer their wonderful support here, we'd love to do more of these sort of one-shots, and maybe we'll see Jorson again, maybe Dewdrops, or maybe in the Battlesphere there will be new challengers. There will be new challengers, excuse me.
Yeah. If we do another Battlesphere, I won't be playing Jorson.
You heard it here first!
I'll be playing
Nice.
something
I'm
else.
very excited about this.
I want to play my character from that Descent into Avernus campaign again, like in general. Like, I don't care if you tell me, okay, reboot it but change the flavor. I still want to play that
I think that's
character.
one of my favorite characters
Yeah.
you've made for sure.
It was so much of a shorter but strong background, because we all like to know
Yep.
kind of who our characters are, but my background wasn't nearly as in-depth and with like ancient histories. I just had like, here's my very simple concept, here's exactly what my character can do, and here's what their mission is. And it was just, it could fit it onto a note card.
Yeah.
For one-shots, I think that's actually a pretty valid way to build a character background. We did put a lot of work into getting this set up. Victoria helping work with the terrain that we set up, that specialized arena we made. I think that asking your players for a backstory for a character is something I always do. But for a one-shot, I'd like it to be one paragraph. Maybe it can be more if it's a follow-up to a previous campaign and someone you might want to revisit again in the future. Because we're going to see Jorson again one day. But when it comes to Dewdrops, you had a good 3 sentences, and I said, I understand. Here are my follow-ups, but we're good. We're kosher. We're all set to go.
I'm a monk. I'm from the first realm, right?
Yep, you're from the
I'm
first
a monk
realm.
from the first realm, but I don't actually know where I'm from because I forgot. And the entire point of the monastery is to go out and adventure and then come back and share what you learn, but I don't remember where to go to.
You're like the house cat that gets out.
He gets out and gets
Yeah.
lost, basically. Yeah, but like the entire joke about the character was like, oh yeah, it's a monk. It's a monastery full of tabaxi, and the whole like Forgotten Realms lore of tabaxi is that they are natural-born adventurers who just like to wander. So it's like an empty monastery because everyone's adventuring. And that's all I needed to build for me to feel comfortable playing that character.
We have
Yeah.
so our setting, the world we know, is quite a bit different from Faerun, from Forgotten Realms in a lot of ways. But cats in all dimensions share several qualities, including being absolute nonsense creatures. And as such, your character being someone who's just, I lost my way home, and I ended up on an interplanar spaceship that is filled with gladiators. I'm gonna punch my way back home. Is very fun.
Yeah, now I get to go home eventually and tell everybody who's still there about it.
Will you be lost again the next time we see you?
Probably. If I ever see Dewdrops again, she's inadvertently lost and probably has given away the compass.
No!
She gives away everything. Okay, my other joke that I never really fully elaborated on, but I just want to share because I loved it because I think I'm hilarious. I had been my thing was that I was like doing laundry, and so like whenever I got picked up by the Battlesphere, I was just like carrying all the washing, so that's what I was wearing.
Is that why you had so
Yeah.
many sets of clothing?
I made a joke about it, but nobody picked up on it, so I just left it alone. But like I've been doing laundry, and
I thought it was you just didn't have a backpack, so you wore all your clothes.
No, it's not all mine. I was
Oh
just doing laundry. Yeah, it just never really came up. I made an offhand comment about it and nobody reacted, so I was like, I'm gonna drop it.
I think we just miss it in the flow.
Yeah.
And those sort of things will happen.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I love little things like that.
Give them something.
Bringing back to what you said earlier, Laurentius, having worked at a bar over in Dunsmith, being such a casual, I'll work a bar, you can buy me a drink, we're friends. Those little touches that you give to player characters make them feel like people.
Yeah. I also... Your relationship with your familiar as Jorson,
Oh yeah.
fantastic. I love him.
Roxo's a good boy.
Yeah, he is.
Love it.
Roxo versus Squawk.
Roxo probably would win.
I don't know about that.
Roxo has... unfortunately, familiars cannot take the attack action. And so they stare at each other using Harden until the end of days.
But, like, usefulness. What is Roxo's ability? Because every animal gets, like, that one
Oh
thing
no,
that
I
they're
started
good
a
at.
holy war.
Let's go. Let's go.
He's,
What's Roxo?
he's really fast. He's a hawk, so he has advantage on perception checks.
Okay.
There's some other things that I can't remember.
He's just Squawk, but faster.
I get mimicry, where I get to mimic the sounds of crying babies as Squawk. Don't do that ever again. Don't do that ever again. I'm gonna kick him off. Go.
But yes, you do have these familiars, and I think familiars are very fun. We get to see them in use here in the Elts campaign as well as in the Battlesphere, and I'm hoping in the near future we might see the resurgence of the spell Flock of Familiars.
Oh yeah.
Victoria, I think you've used it. The times you've used it have been in this campaign have been the only times I've seen the spell in use.
Yeah, it's relatively new.
Yes.
It's a newer spell, and nobody's taken it in the past at our table. I did not know how much I'd like it. Some people just don't cast regular Find Familiar, and just from what I've seen, people just use Flock of Familiars because you don't need a familiar all the time. And if you
that's
cast
true.
it, you get all three.
Yeah.
So it takes a minute to do, but you know. Oh, you had an idea.
Nope, I don't know what you're talking
Okay.
about.
I don't know anything.
Well, we're coming here towards the end of the time, and my only recap I want to say is that I thank you once more for playing at my table. You've been doing a fantastic job. And I rolled a lot of natural ones.
Oh man,
Oh, yes, you did.
we're gonna have to hear that spotlight again on Friday.
Oh yeah.
Hear what
Yeah,
all
this
happened
week,
to our DM.
My shame will be aired out like Dewdrop's laundry. Well, with that, I think we're done for the night, huh?
All right, yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us on Footnotes. We'll be back this Friday with all of our wonderful heroes on the Eltsian campaign. That's at 7 o'clock Central.
Yeah.
And Zarathal is waiting.
Oh my goodness.
That's actually not how he laughs. But...
I know.
That's
but-
a merc. Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.